What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video, and today I'm going to show you how I do this 8-week-old fill. That is honestly, in my opinion, way too long to go for a fill, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so this is what the client came in with, and I realized, oh wow, it's been a while, and this is the result I gave her. But watch when I show you what was the in between on why exactly I don't do 8 to 10 week old fills, and you're gonna understand. Keep watching because it is gonna be a little surprising. Okay, first things first, make sure you guys check the description for coupon codes, Amazon storefront, follow me on Instagram for more content, subscribe, notifications on so you don't miss out on any videos that I have. Okay, so first things first, I'm just gonna shock you really quick. Once I got done with prep, this is why I do not do fills past 4 to 6 weeks on acrylic toes, because at that point, if you don't do anything or remove them, like if you don't fill them or remove them, there's going to be so much lifting. All right, now this isn't going to go into detail on exactly what it looks like when I filed the set and prepped it and stuff, but I had started working on the first foot and I realized, you know what, this might be something for YouTube to see. So this particular client, when she came back in, I was like, oh, it's been a little bit, right? And I was trying to put 2 and 2 together because she had went on a trip, so she got her toes done before that, and then when she came back from the trip after about a month, she got her toes done again. And I was like, when's the last time I actually physically saw you? And she was like, she gave me the date, and I was like, that's what I thought, because as soon as I kind of went to kind of file the big toe, you can tell when it's to the point where like this is gonna pretty much pop off. And that's when I had to explain to her, like, hey, next time just be sure to book within 4 to 6 weeks, because you know toenails do grow slowly, but after that there's so much growth that even though they look good, at that point the enhancements are usually prone to lifting because it has been so long without maintenance. And this is pretty much the process of how I came to that conclusion. On the first foot, I don't want to say it was way worse, but it took a while to get rid of this amount of lifting. And for fills, honestly, I only booked 45 minutes worth of time because I'm expecting that you are going to be within 4 to 6 weeks. So that can take care of some lifting, but not all. So when she was like, oh, you know, I want French tip and blah, 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 I did tell her, I was like, you know what? I can only do what I can in this allotted amount of time, which is more than likely going to be basic color. And on top of that, it ended up not even being the same exact nude, just for the simple fact of what she had. I know I did not have time to make more of that, or to even guarantee like, okay, this is going to be an exact color match from 2 weeks ago, from like 2 months ago. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes that does happen. Don't get upset. And me personally, I'm not going to necessarily turn someone away, especially if they've been here a lot of times and they're, you know, some sort of regular. But I do kind of like sternly tell them like, hey boo, we can't do this again, because now this forces me to work really, really fast. And luckily I did finish within the time frames of our appointment. I want to say it only put me like 5 minutes behind, but this is really going to test your skills as a nail tech and see like, okay, what type of worker am I to still be able to get these results? But as you can see, when it comes to lifting, you have to be really, really careful. You don't want to file too hard or too long. And you can see sometimes I switch up the technique, but this is the other foot. This is the other foot. Yeah. I had filed and removed this foot first, and then I went ahead and was like, okay, let me film. So that's why I showed a little bit of filing on the other foot. So I decided to just go in with Nude Panther because I'm like, okay, all of the product is not gone, but I do need a nude that's able to kind of camouflage into what she already has, so it's not too noticeable. You know what I'm saying? So with this particular technique of doing a fill that is pretty much expired, okay, at this point so much product is gone. Y'all, I apologize. We're just gonna work through the telephone because I gotta go to work. But when you're working with a set that it's pretty much so old, all right, girl. Okay, when you're working on a set that pretty much almost all the product is, there's no way, like there's just literally no fucking way. Damn. Okay, like I was saying, I apologize, y'all. When you're working on a set that is this old, there's still going to be some product, and the problem with that is the product placement, like what you're getting ready to place, is going to be a little bit uneven. Okay, so you see how much product I put down where there is none, because not to say we need some strength, but there's a certain amount of product we need to match up and level with what's already there. And then on top of that, the colors are a little bit different. So now you're gonna see me feathering the color down, almost kind of like an ombre, but not really, because I need what I'm putting down to kind of blend into what's already there, because we don't have a color match. Okay, now like I keep saying, 4 to 6 weeks for acrylic toes is the sweet spot. You get a couple extra weeks longer than a full set on your hands, only because some people's growth patterns is different. Some people only need to get their toenails done like every other month because they have a really slow growth pattern. If you're not familiar with the growth rate of hands and toenails, basically toenails, you're probably only gonna get like, I don't know, let me see, I'm trying to determine, maybe like half an inch of growth in a couple of weeks, whereas on hands it goes way quicker. To give you like a bigger idea, right, if you lose a toenail, like, and let's say you have nothing, it's going to take you close to a year to grow back. Of course, some people can grow it sooner, but for your hands it's going to take close to 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So that should give you a guideline of, hey, if you had nothing, that's how long it's going to take most people to grow something back. All right, so as you can see, I don't know if you guys can tell if I'm trying to work quickly or not. At this point, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, I have somebody next. And this is the moments when you work down to the wire like this and you're still able to accomplish a good look. I'm telling you, them is the moments where it's like, yeah, okay, I really did that. Man, it's almost kind of like a high when you're rushing around and doing stuff like that. But be careful, because you can just as easily make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So for the little toes, in this type of circumstance, it kind of doesn't matter, because on the little toes you have less product anyways. There is still some product on those little toes. It's hard to see, but you can see on the very tips that there is some. So with the little toes, it's pretty much like doing a new set, you know, like just put it on there as normal, and then I would move on to the next foot. Now normally, where I would lay all the acrylic down and pretty much just go back to the big toe, start filing as everything else starts drying, you also have to be careful, because now it's going to take way longer for everything to dry, because now this is like full amounts of acrylic beads rather than just a little bit in the grow out area, because it's not a backfill anymore. You see what I'm saying? So there are certain things that come up when you're in these circumstances of people waiting outside the recommended guidelines. Okay, now if I would have refused her, I'm sure she would have understood. But like I said, this is why client education is really important, because you want your clients to be on the same wavelength as you, so that way they get familiar with your work and familiar with like the do's and don'ts. I'm not saying get super strict with it, but at the end of the day, it's something that you kind of have to have that commonality of like, okay, how much for maintenance, what's too long, when do I need to get a soak off, you know, that stuff that I typically tell my clients. I keep them updated at each appointment. If I see something going on, I'm like, hey, the next time you come back, this is what we're gonna do. Hey, do this in the meantime, because you want every appointment to go as smoothly as possible. And obviously, just like in this clip, sometimes it doesn't, but we'll say most of the time it does, right? So I just wanted to show this because this is real life. You know, a lot of nail techs, they pretty much are kind of like, well, if you don't do as I say, I can't take you, you have to turn away. But honestly, that's not hella realistic, because realistically, do you want to keep turning down money every time someone books wrong? No, because in this instance, technically I actually made more money, though I would not have preferred to be rushing around and trying to do this in such a short time frame. But with the time allotted, I can do what I can do. It may not be exactly what they wanted, but a lot of people will accept something over nothing. So I would rather have a reputation of like, hey, I just educated my client, I treat my regulars well and they treat me well, rather than, hey, I'm just kind of always declining people just because something went wrong. Okay, so this is pretty much after filing, shaping everything. My phone actually died at this point, but this is the final result right before top coat. I'm hoping this video helps somebody, even in the slightest way. And you know, you guys leave me a comment below if you enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.